So thank you all for liking this. I really see that people are watching this and listening to this. I'm surprised by that as a reflector, but great. So we keep going here on the left angle cross of prevention for the six lines. The six two. The sixth line of the 10th gate is a line that you could spend a lifetime dealing with, particularly in this time when we're dealing with the six line mutation and the six line mutation in the profile, what it means to be a six, the role model, the perfect expression, obviously, it's a blue line, of norms through action rather than words. Here you get to see the whole process. The sixth line is the first 28-year lives on action that is punished. It's punished by failure. So you can see itself as an example of anything other than failure. It goes up on the roof, and through its object vision, it begins to tell people about what behavior will work for them or not. But it doesn't live it themselves because they're withdrawn from that world, the hypocrisy. Then finally, there's the potential of coming back off the roof and somehow being able to live as a true example. The expressions of norms through action rather than words is the only thing that you can judge a six line being by when they get to their post Chiron phase. In other words, when you meet somebody with a six line profile who had their Chiron return, what they say has very little value in judging them. Don't listen to what they say what they do. It's the action. That's what you go from in the action in the first 30 years, which is fraught with failure, to the non action on the roof, which is observational, and then finally back into the action. And of course, going back into the action is full of risk unless your behavior is absolutely perfect. Is this perfect, guys? It doesn't say the almost perfect perfection or the almost perfect expression. It's the perfect expression of your norm in action. No words, words aren't necessary. Look at me talking here, thinking to be a role model. So funny. This is the difference between five and the six. The five has to sell you, the six only needs to show you. They're very different beings. The moment that the six is trying to tell you, you know they're on the roof. And the moment that you see that they are too old to be on the roof and they're still telling you, you tell them what you think of them. You're full of shit. You're a hypocrite. You're telling me all this stuff, but it's not what you're doing. You're sitting there with a cigarette in your mouth and you're telling me not to smoke. Are you crazy? Do you think I'm going to listen to you? So, this is a very, very important thing to understand about the role model: action, inaction, action. These are the three phases. There's a learning process in the action to learn how to be consistent example. The constant example that refocuses the complacent on the basic integrity of said behavior. To know how to behave changes people's lives. To be an example of correct behavior saves people's lives. It's like you're in an elevator with four people and you're on the 72nd floor and get stuck. There's a great opportunity for six to go, hell, it will come, it's all right. But if you got somebody in there yelling, help, help, everybody in there gets that. They all start going crazy. They start banging the wall. Instantly, in this kind of situation, I say, calm down. Don't jump on them down. Don't bang. It's all right. The potential wisdom of the six, and you can see that before the mutative process, the six ultimately was all about do as I say, not as I do. And you have to see that in your genetic history, we're still suspicious of them. It's like, what do you mean? You're telling me what to do, but I don't see you doing it. I don't see you living it. It's like the generator rushing up to you and saying, I'm going to you what you need. Live your design. Yeah, right. You're crazy. You're not living yours. So, one of the most important things about this prevention is to see what basically this is all about, getting to the point where you finally can just live who you are. Yeah, I don't know. Am I a role model? I'm doing all this. I'm giving this incarnation crosses. It's a lot of fun. But am I supposed to do this as a reflector? I'm getting pain in my heart. Oh, must be somebody else somewhere. Yeah, I'm having this lately. Talk, 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 50 times a day. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, I have a good heart. I didn't take any vaccination, but still I can feel it. Oof, something is going on somewhere. Anyway, I feel everything. Let's carry on to the sixth tree, the more role model anarchist. I don't know what the sixth tree does here because the sixth tree is looking at the 58 gate. You're looking at the 58 gate and you know right away that you're about to enter into some of the most collective processes. It's a very collective cross that's coming. And then you look at that and you're at the 10th gate and you come back to this realization that over and over again you always have to live with the collective environment. And that behavior is ultimately either condoned or repressed by the collective. So the sixth tree, when it comes off the roof, has to be an example in the collective world that's not necessarily necessarily easy because the collective says all behavior is set. This is what the collective wants to do. Set behavior. It's like this is a behavior. This is an old formula with the teacher student. You're sitting there and you're not jumping up and down and screaming. There's a behavior in all of this. You can see the different experimentation over the years about teachers and students and how to interact and what behavior works. We have these norms that are established. The sixth rule looks at all this and says, wait a minute, this is all hypocrisy. You're doing what somebody else is telling you to do, and none of them are doing it what's right for you. This is saving humanity from itself. And I think that the 6 3 on the cross of prevention are the ones that get more martyred than the 3 5s on the vessels of love. Wow. In other words, there are real punishment for them because when they step right into it, this is the whole thing about the 6 3 role model. They will blunder right into it. And they were right in the middle of some collective, traditional, standardized norm or behavior, and they come in it, and that's kind of things where everybody turns around and stares at them at the same time. They're not happy in the collective world. They're not love. They love being on the roof. They hate coming off. Yeah, me too. I'm having a problem with it. You see that we have come to this place where we're dealing with death and mutation, always dealing with death at the end result. Why bother to come off the roof? Think about it. If you're a six and you could really control it, you would not come off the roof. You wouldn't. The most productive time economically for a six is when they're on the roof. The most peaceful time in the life is when they're on the roof. That aloofness, that power, the power that comes, the fool on the hill, you can disperse. You're with them, whether it's hypocritical or not, nobody gives a shit. You get paid for your hypocrisy. Do as I say, not as I do. Put the check in the mail. Why would they want to come off the roof and give up that? Give that up. So what you get in mutation is most of the 6 3 throughout mutation all have this kind of breed. Do I have to? And of course, it's not a choice. They're ripped off the roof. And for them, it's the beginning of death. They see coming off the roof as coming going downhill. The typical six has some kind of practice and they struggle. And then they finally go up on the roof and surely their reputation builds. And they get more and more clients. They get more and more reputation and they write scholarly books and whatever. And then all of a sudden they have to come off the roof and everything. Notice that all these years they were on the roof, they were being hypocrites. Oh, it's devastating. It's like everything goes into decline. People say it's not going to go to that person anymore. They're full of shit. They don't live what they were teaching. For me, it's terrible. You have these people that wrote these great vegetarian diet books, and then they go into a steakhouse and they're sitting there eating a steak. They're off the roof. They have a different frequency. You say, do you know what you did to me? 20 years of broccoli. You're going to die for this. 20 years of broccoli. You set me up. Look at me. You're eating beef. Anyway, I'm intolerant to vegans. Okay, I know the raves are all going to be vegan. I like meat. I'm O plus. Let's stop this vegan propaganda because you know these people are just ready for another lockdown, and meat eaters are not. Anyway, it's just a joke. But I blame the whole lockdown on the vegans. And they have nothing to save with them, and that because underneath it's the mourner. They get punished for it. So Tix trees, when there's a time to come off the roof, you always see them hanging by the eaves. They've got their fingers holding on. It's like life. I don't want to go. They can get very depressed. The first thing that they get, their hypocritical cornyoppance, is the first moment that they think, oh, this is awful. It's better be dead. Yeah, you see them trying to crawl back onto that roof again. Well, I know it. I love the roof. I'm coming off, and it's just so dense. And anyway, I'm ready. I'm getting kicks under my ass from everybody. What about you? You had your download. You're supposed to teaching. Yeah, okay. I'm doing my best. Okay. Yeah, here we go. I'm reflecting.